This is Shawn Michaels, former WWE Superstars, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.
Welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I'm the internet icon, handsome Jackie Jones, and I'm joined by Barry Griffith, formerly known as Mason Ryan of the WWE, now of Cirque du Soleil. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Thanks for coming on. Now, first of all, for people not aware, could you just explain what Cirque du Soleil is about? I'm sure people have heard it, but some wrestling fans might not have seen it.
Well, Cirque du Soleil started as from the streets. You know, there were some street performers who kind of were doing the thing, and then they built it up from there to what it is today. You know, it's a global empire, and you know, there's numerous different shows here in Vegas, let alone touring shows all over the world. You know, and each show has, you know, a different theme and a different show. It's, you know, each show from one to the next is completely different. Our show is called KA, which is spelled K-A, and it's based here at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. And our show is, you know, it's a mixture of martial arts, pyrotechnics, acrobatical skills, and, you know, along with a humongous stage that moves and turns and does all kinds of stuff. So it's a storyline based show about two twins that get separated, and that get, you know, they're trying to reunite throughout the show, and face different battles for that.
Mm-hmm. And I would think, coming from wrestling, you know, the athleticism and the theater and everything, actually, it would be, you know, a very similar transition.
Yeah. Actually, you know, a lot of the same skill set that I use for wrestling, kind of, I use here for this show. You know, a lot of the wrestling stuff that I was taught and learned over the years prepared me for this role. You know, a lot of having a character and portraying that character in front of people and exuding it so that everyone can see who you are and understand who you are, and then along with that, you know, doing these fight scenes and making them look realistic as possible and as entertaining as possible really has helped me a lot to be a part of the show.
Mm-hmm. Now, you know, they made this character for you. Like, how much input do you have in your own character, or is it something, you know, they create for you entirely?
Yeah, a lot. That's the great thing about working here. You know, they want your input, they want your opinion, and want you to kind of put your own stamp on the character, and they're really open to ideas. And just because, you know, I was a new guy here didn't mean that, you know, I was just going to sit back and they wanted me to do as I was told. You know, they really wanted my opinion and stuff. And a lot of the fight scenes that we've added and extended, you know, I've had a big hand in, you know, and I think they appreciate my opinion and you know, how I see stuff a little differently to them. And, you know, along with you know, my coworkers and the great coaching staff that we have here, you know, we put on some really amazing fight scenes, and it blows people away all the time, you know, how good these fight scenes are. And sometimes, you know, it really blows me away to kind of, when I watch it back on tape or whatever, to see the scenes and see how cool they are. It's really awesome.
Yeah. So, like, for the fight scene, did they incorporate, like, any actually wrestling moves?
Yeah. You know, the show itself, you know, has a lot of martial arts in it. So, you know, that's, you know, they keep that. But at the same time, you know, I'll pick up a guy above my head and kind of gorilla press him into the pit below, and I'll clothesline someone, and, you know, I'll pick up a guy above my head and strangle him. You know, it's some of the wrestling stuff is definitely incorporated here, and then I've taken on board some of the stuff that they had already, you know, the martial arts and stuff like that, and kind of added that into it, you know, to put a fight scene together that really has a lot of elements to it.
Mm-hmm. How did you get involved in the first place? You know, you leave WWE and you did indies for a while. Like, was this something you pursued, or was it something that just came up?
Well, what happened was, after I left WWE, I still kept in contact with with a lot of my friends and a lot of people in the office, and randomly one day I got a phone call saying, "Hey, we have a job opportunity for you. If you're interested, please call us back." So I called them back, naturally thinking that it was wrestling related. But that's where they told me that Cirque du Soleil had contacted them looking to fill a role, and they thought a wrestler would be perfect for it. And did they have anyone in mind? So they were looking to put me forward. So I passed on my info, sort of my bio, my pictures, and some videos, etc. And then they called me back. Cirque du Soleil called me back, offering me a chance to audition. So in August of last year, I flew out here to Vegas, did the audition along with 3 other wrestlers. And it was a really cool day, actually. I call it an audition, but it really wasn't that. It was more of a fun day where, we got to jump into airbags and compete against each other in some physical competitions and do some role playing. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I left thinking what a fun day it was and hoping that I would get the gig, but, I didn't think too much of it. I tried to put it to the back of my mind, and then a week later they called me back and said, "Hey, we'd like to offer you the role," which was really cool, and of course I jumped at the chance.
Yeah. Now, do you do your own face paint or body paint? Because I've seen the pictures. You look pretty cool.
Yeah. Because we have a cast of roughly around 80 people, that's a lot of makeup, and they would need a lot of makeup artists to kind of do that. So obviously we're all taught how to do our own makeup when we first get here, and that's quite the challenge in itself, and especially for me. I wouldn't say I'm the most artistic person. My strengths lie more in my physical prowess. So, especially to start off with, it would take me well over 2 hours to kind of do my makeup. But by this point, I've kind of got it down to an hour and a quarter, hour and a half. But it's still a challenge for me to be able to do my makeup. But I actually enjoy it. It's kind of the time I spend kind of relaxing and preparing for the night and for the night shows. So it's quite funny, really, to think that I do my own makeup.
Yeah. Now, if you would ever go back to wrestling, would you keep that as part of your wrestling character?
I always liked the guys with the face paint. I was
LOD.
I was always a fan of the Ultimate Warrior and Sting and the Road Warriors. I always thought that face paint was always pretty cool. I would actually enjoy having some face paint on and wrestling, because it kind of transports you into someone else. The face paint is like a transformation from me as a normal person into this character. So it would be cool. I think it would look, the face paint I do is actually really cool, and I think it would look great in wrestling.
Definitely. Now, with the brand split, they've it's been rumored that they've contacted so many former wrestlers to come back, since they need a lot of people on the roster. Have they talked to you at all?
No, I think they know that I'm under contract here, and I'm under contract now until the end of 2017. So I'm guessing that they know that I'm pretty happy here, and I'm loving things here at CAR and at Cirque du Soleil. So it's exciting though to see the brand split and see what happens and see who they bring back. But no, I wasn't one of them.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are your thoughts on your former teammate CM Punk going to UFC?
Yeah, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he does. I think he's been training for a while now, right? Maybe over a year.
Yeah. Since
he kind of signed the deal or whatever. And people like him, they're very special people. You don't get to the top of whatever you're doing without having a special mindset and a work ethic. And I think he'll apply that to what he's doing now, and I'm sure he's working extremely hard. And I'm sure that the naysayers and all the people, the doubters and that, will be just fueling the fire for him to do well. And I've got a very funny feeling that he's going to do pretty good. So I'm excited, and I really hope he does well. I wish him the absolute best.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have any thoughts on Bill DeMott when you were in Florida?
No, I got to work with Bill quite a bit. He was he didn't coach me that much, because he was more in charge of running stuff and things like that. But No, Bill. I always got on well with Bill. He treated me with respect, and everything was. I had no problem with it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. And what's it like living in Vegas now?
It's cool, actually. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's actually surprising, having moved out here, how kind of different it is to what I expected. When you move to Vegas, you think of more of, the bright lights and the nightclubs and the gambling, sort of, you think more hangover than anything else. But, I don't really come to the Strip that often. I haven't been out, I'm not a drinker or anything. I've gambled once, I think, and I lost. So I was like, that's the end of that. And I don't think I've been out once here drinking. So, but I really enjoy it because it has so much more to offer than that, Obviously, have all the shows. There's so many great shows here. Cirque has, I think, 5 different shows. 7, I've just been corrected, 7 different shows here, which is absolutely amazing. And I've been to see most of them, and they're really, really cool. So, that in itself is great. And then you have so many other different things to do. Have your Lake Mead, that's not too far away. You have Lake Las Vegas. You can go out to the desert and shoot some guns. There's plenty of golf courses here. There's just so much to do outside of what everyone thought this place is, to be honest with you. So it's, I really enjoy living here.
Yeah. Now, so real quick, how would you compare the physicality? How physically demanding is doing the Cirque? As you said, it's 5 days a week compared to a wrestling schedule.
It's similar in the way that with wrestling we used to wrestle 5 nights a week. Here we do put shows on 5 nights a week, but we do 2 shows a night. And I wouldn't say it's as intensive as wrestling, because when you wrestle for 10, 15 minutes, it's just you and another guy for the most part, and it's, it's quite intense, Mm-hmm. Here, the shows is an hour and a half, and, I'm not involved in every scene in the show, even though I'm involved in it a lot. And it's not always fight scenes. Sometimes it's more of the acting part. So in that aspect, it's not as intensive, but obviously we do 2 shows a night, and the fight scenes are quite intense, but it's more of a short burst of intensity rather than, with wrestling, it's 10, 15 minutes long. And also, the great thing here is that we're based at the MGM Grand. We have a theater here, so, I have a base here, and I'm home every night in my own bed. And I have, I can use my own kitchen to cook my food. I have the same gym I train in. Whereas wrestling, you're living out of a suitcase in a different hotel every night, eating where you can, and you're in airplanes and cars a lot, doing a lot of traveling. So, they're both very different. But, I absolutely love what I'm doing now.
Excellent. Well, you guys, everyone can find out more information at ca.com. That's just ca.com. So that's easy to find out. And honestly, not just because you're on here, I was watching the videos, and it looks like something I'd really enjoy. It looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, cool. Yeah, absolutely. The show is absolutely amazing. Throughout my career, I've been lucky enough to work with some great athletes, but here, on a nightly and daily basis, some of the stuff that they do is just, to me, defines what the human body is capable of, and I'm very lucky to kind of be able to sit back and watch what they do. And the show itself is just so cool, it's, the stage is huge, it has a massive revolving stage. It's nine stories high, and it has all kinds of moving parts and craziness involved in it. So, the show is just an absolute juggernaut, and everyone I speak to that comes to see the show, they're absolutely blown away, and they absolutely love it. So, if anyone's coming out to Vegas, I highly suggest that they come and watch it. Our shows are at 7 and 9:30 p.m. from Saturday to Wednesday, and they can buy tickets at the box office here at the MGM Grand, or they can go online to cirquedusoleil.com/car.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and talking to us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
This is Bill DeMott, a.k.a. Hugh Morris. You're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.